Haha, there I am. Hello and welcome to the Nikki Maduro Show. Nikki, of course, off today, which is kind of a good thing. Not that she's not here, but that things are better at her house. There was some sickness afoot, and she's able to go back to her second job, which is awesome. Thank you for being here with me. Please click the like button, please, oh please. There's some general housekeeping I'd like to get rid of again with the clicking of the like button, so we get that out of the way. And also, just to let you know that there is a Patreon and PayPal link at the NikkiMaduroShow.com. That's also where you can find the merchandise as well. So that's a good website to know to have in your back pocket. The NikkiMaduroShow.com. I'm Kim in for Nikki today. It's going to be a shortened show. Big to do here in Petaluma. It is eighth grade graduation day at my daughter's junior high. So I'm going to go help set up and help do all that type of mom stuff. So the show is going to be a little short today. I also apologize for being here a little late. Mark Thompson's show ran long, so there's always that transition. There is a story, though, that we didn't talk about on Mark's show today that I wanted to talk to you about because we've been talking a lot about, the grand theft, it would seem, from retail establishments. And there was a situation in San Francisco where the Walgreens security guard opened fire on somebody who was allegedly stealing stuff, shot the person to death. And so we have had discussions over whether or not employees should get involved in shoplifting. Well, there was a situation at a Lululemon, which, if you know about Lululemon, they have some seriously expensive clothes. $100 leggings, right? I mean, leggings should cost, I don't know, 20, $30. Not at Lululemon, they're $128. And of course, all the kids have to have Lululemon. So, I guess what I'm wondering is, in order to keep these stores open, and we've seen them close in San Francisco because of crime, because of theft, is not lucrative financially for these places to maintain their brick and mortar stores. And so that means a loss of retail jobs for people. Now you've got retail staff with skin in the game trying to keep these shoplifters from walking out the door with all the merchandise. Well, this happened in Peachtree Corners, Georgia, at the Lululemon in Peachtree Corners. Cell phone footage shows two men wearing hoodies and face masks rush into the store, grab armloads of merchandise from the spots closest to the entrance, and then run out. That did not go over well with the employees at Lululemon. One female employee seen near the entrance of the store, close to where those men were, yelling, "Get out," repeatedly. Uh, and then it looks like when the men left the store, they followed them. I don't know if they gave chase per se, but followed them enough to get the information that would lead to the men's eventual arrest. Well, those employees have been fired from Lululemon. Fired. Lululemon says no, and they stand by their decision to fire two employees who tried to intervene during this theft. They say, in this particular case, we have a zero tolerance policy we train our educators on around engaging during a theft because we put the safety of our team and our guests front and center. It's only merchandise. So they want you to just let them take it. Don't get involved. If you get involved, they can open fire, hurt people in the store, hurt the staff members. Let it go. CEO of Lululemon says the employees that were fired knowingly broke the policy, engaged with the thieves, including following them out of the store. There were three men later apprehended. And so, now you've got conservative media saying, "Look, they're letting these people go. They want them to do nothing," like a light Law and Order kind of deal. But I don't. I mean, maybe Lululemon opens itself up to big lawsuits from staff members' families or shoppers' families, customers' families, if they don't have such a policy saying, let the leggings go out the door. It's just merchandise, you know? Uh, The quote is, "You're dealing with potentially very aggressive, violent people committing these crimes. Retailers have seen employees lose their lives when they have tried to intervene." That from Reed Hayes, criminologist at the University of Florida and director of the Loss Prevention Council. And this is a group that advises Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Gap. They say they have a zero tolerance policy, Lululemon, for engaging with guests in a way that could put themselves or others in harm's way. So, Peachtree Corners, Georgia, Lululemon firing two workers for trying to stop the thieves. What do you think? You think they should have tried to do something? Yelled stop, walked out to see their license plate, anything? Or do you think that, you just turn your a blind eye, which I don't know if you've heard Nikki say the other day, she's been in multiple stores where she and her kids have seen people stealing, taking stuff, and no one says a word. People are just allowed to behave this way. What does that say about us as a society when we just get so used to seeing shoplifters walk out the door and no one shames them, no one says anything to them? I understand for safety reasons that's important, but I'm wondering what you think. Oh, and Lori above the bar, so grateful. And thank you for the belated birthday wishes. I'm grateful. Thank you. You're so kind. Of course, Lori above the bar over at the Red Jack in San Francisco. Such a cool place. And they've got the martini and the Maduro mule. So very cool. Yeah. Nice. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate that very much. I'm wondering what you think about this whole Lululemon thing. Let's see. We'll scroll back a little bit and see what you had to say. Karen says they should hire security. Yeah. Lose your life over spandex. Not really worth it. Thank you, Vilma, for the good wishes toward Julia. Can't believe I'm about ready to have a high schooler. Ooh, it's going to be a rough ride with this one. Walter says if they value their employees and customers more than the loss of that merchandise. Yeah, it's true. But then the next thing you know, Lululemon is pulling out of Peachtree Corners, Georgia, and people are losing their jobs because so much of their stuff has been stolen, right? We've seen it happen. I mean, that's just the next logical step in the process. Walmart has security out in front. They will and do yell at you and follow and get the police involved. I guess maybe security guards different than workers inside. I don't know how that works. Anonymous should have gotten employee of the month and praised for risking their safety for the company, but the company doesn't reciprocate. That's the thing, Al, is if you praise people for doing that and then they do it again next time this happens, because it's going to happen again, right? And then someone gets hurt and sues the company. Maybe it's not so good for the company having to pay out millions of dollars for a policy that would get people hurt in their store. I mean, part of me feels like we can't just let shoplifters get away with this. But on the other hand, I understand why the policy's in place. Walter, Oakland Lululemon has security. San Francisco contracts with the police department. Probably need to, I would imagine. Karen, shoplifting will continue if there are no hardcore consequences. Seriously, get used to it if you're not willing to go after them. Yes, even for a pair of leggings. I think what they do is they scoop up like whole armfuls of stuff and just walk out like it's nothing. Mm. Maybe go back to wearing loincloths. I don't know, John. I'm not thinking. I'm not thinking I'm a loincloth kind of girl. Oh, the kamikaze. Yeah, I think they have a kamikaze there too as well. I need to go get one of those. That's sure. At the Red Jack. Vilma, I don't believe they should have been fired. Maybe a retraining in security and loss prevention procedures. The store should be have their employees should be the store should be probably happy that their employees cared about their merchandise. Okay, so let's just put this scenario out there, Vilma. They keep the people on who broke the policy, and they say, Let's retrain you in how we want you to do stuff. Then another shoplifter comes, right? And the same thing happens. And the people give chase, but this time the shoplifters open fire in the store. And then the lawsuit says these people had a history of doing the same thing and breaking the policy, and still they were allowed to remain. I I I don't I mean, I yes, I like what you're saying, but I don't know if for liability reasons the store could do that. Mm. Flo says, "What? Didn't they do their jobs above and beyond? Maybe they cared enough about their place of work to do something about the shoplifters. I get it about the policy, but why not give them a thank you?" It it's a conundrum, to use a word we heard earlier, because on one hand, you've got people who obviously cared about the stuff, who are trying to stand up and do the morally right thing, which is, not only help their place of employment, but keep people from stealing, standing up against when you see something wrong. But on the other hand, you just maybe have to look at the liability situation for the company. And when they tell you, look, we really mean don't chase after them. We really mean don't say anything. We really mean just let the merchandise go to protect everyone. They'd still have jobs if they did it. It's counterintuitive, I know. But in the long run, I guess could save the company more money. Susan, I believe the UK has bouncers at every store entrance. Maybe we should have bouncers here as well. If there were bouncers and if shoplifters knew it, that no matter where they went, they would encounter some type of a person larger than they were, maybe armed. Maybe there would be less of this type of stuff. And the actual employees that are trying to sell you a pair of way overpriced leggings wouldn't have to put themselves at risk. Wes says, I think these high end stores are going to have to start scanning IDs at the door. I was thinking, Wes, maybe keep the doors locked. And if someone knocks, then you let them in and you lock the door after them. And after the sale, or if they haven't purchased anything and they want to leave, then you unlock the door and let them out. But then again, what if you let someone in and all of a sudden they pull a weapon and they want to steal stuff? You then just hand them the keys and say, go ahead, do what you got to do. I don't know. Ooh, Walter, my daughter is the manager of the San Francisco store. They contract police for that. I don't want her chasing anyone over a t-shirt. Right. And so you have a family member like Walter where, something happened to his wonderful daughter at the store, he could sue them and they know that. And that's why they tell people like his daughter, "Listen, it's not worth your life. It's not worth a customer's life. Let it go." The problem with that is then we have this culture of, "Oh, they're not gonna do anything to me? You mean I could just take whatever I want? Well, all right." Yeah, I hear you, Walter. I wouldn't wanna lose a child over a t-shirt either. Absolutely not. Yeah. Flo, they can't have a McTeeny because they already have the Marktini. So I think it's a kamikaze is what they've got. Al says, "It takes one lawyer to add a clause to a policy. If you do X, company isn't liable. Employees will be aware." Yeah, but what if you do it and they don't fire you for it and then you do it again? See, I don't know if there's a way around firing these two people, even though I kind of like what they did on a moral level. Although if it had turned out differently and the shoplifters had opened fire, would I have blamed the store employees for breaking policy and said they should never have done that? Probably. So I don't know. I kind of bounce back and forth on this one. I really, I'm having a hard time with what's right here. Basic human behavior, writes Luis, zero consequences equals more of the same behavior. Yeah. Enjoy your upcoming crime spree. Just don't bitch about it because you're contributing to it. See, and Luis, you just kind of nailed why I'm feeling like I don't hate what they did. I don't hate people standing up against criminals, against standing up for what's right. Hey, don't come in here and take our stuff. This is our job and our livelihood. Mm. Vilma, maybe stores should have a loud alarm go off when someone steals. I think they do. They usually have those, those plastic gadgets that they snap into the clothes with a needle, and then you have to have them taken off, and that sets off the alarm at the door, but it doesn't matter. They know how to take them off at the other end, right? Vicky rather, hi Vicky, says the employees should not have been fired. They were so responsible. Were they though, if they knew the store policy and violated it? I could see in the moment getting so riled up and mad that someone would come in and violate your space like that. But if you know the policy, you're making a choice to violate it. Maybe they should have expected that that would happen. John says, I think they'll do it no matter what the penalties are. Just like drugs, steep penalties and lots of criminals still deal them. Yeah. SF Tesla, when you monitor public police banned radio channels, Walmart called the cops every day between 2 and 5 p.m. At that point, why not just have a officer stationed in the parking lot, right? Square writing, can Lulu have people entering the store put on a GPS wristband, remove upon exit? Well, I'm sure they could, but what's to say that you can't just take it off and chuck it as you're running with an armload of stuff? I have to think about that. I mean, I don't know how that would work. You could ask people to. I don't know. I don't know how that would work square. I have to think more about that. It's an interesting thought though, but I don't know how you force them to give it back or take it off on their own while they're running with all your stuff. Liz, hi Liz, says years ago, New York City boutiques always locked their doors. One had to buzz the doorbell to notify the salespeople to let you in. That seems to make sense to me. There's no guarantee that you're not letting in an armed thief. But once they're in and the door is locked, it's a lot harder for them to just bust free with all your stuff. I kind of like that idea, even if it means that, you know, that we have to have less of a convenience and wait to be let in and wait to be let out. Karen says the criminals need to go to prison if they shot someone in the store. Well, yeah, obviously, but it's too late for their families and too late for them if they shot someone in the store. A loud alarm with flashing lights might deter people from stealing. Probably not. They don't care because loud alarm flashing lights still means no one's going to do anything. No one's chasing after you. Maybe they call the police, but the police aren't going to get there in time. Karen says, don't blame the shop and the shop workers. No, I mean, you have to blame the people that are at fault, which are the shoplifters. But if the store knows it's an ongoing problem, how they want their people to react to it, says a lot about what could happen to LuluLemon or pick a store, really. How they could be liable for people dying in their store, people being shot in their store, having the wrong policy, having a policy that led to more violence. I don't know. Yeah, and that's the truth, Square. It's sad that Lulu will be forced to become an online store only. And it looks like that's really the way. We've seen store after store close down in San Francisco because of these thefts, because of crime, maybe because of a loss of foot traffic as well. And maybe it's the whole ball of wax, everything combined just means having these expensive brick and mortar stores won't pay. And I mean that means a loss of jobs for people. And we won't be able to go try stuff on. It's going to be all mail order. John says they're going to start doing like the glasses company does, send you a bunch of frames to try via mail order. Yeah, they'll send you a few outfits and whatnot to try on. Good luck. Here's a few sizes. Let us know what you think. This is so out of control. Lock people up for stealing, put their names and photos in the news media, says Vicky. Or maybe dye packs on clothes that ruin them if they're stolen. Yeah. Take it and it won't do you any good anyway because they'll be stained. Nobody wants that. John Rothman mentioned when he was in Mexico at the grocery store, he noticed security at almost every aisle. We may end up needing to do that. Okay, well, I don't know about what the prices are in Mexico for security guards, but I would imagine that to pay a security guard of that many of them would be pretty expensive. So then what we're going to see is prices going up. So instead of $128 for a pair of leggings, it's going to be $228 for a pair of leggings. And then people are just going to say, you know what? 128 was more than I can really afford. I'm out. Wes says it can't lock the doors. It's a fire hazard. Yeah, so does Kay. ID scan, pretty cool. Wristbands are easily snipped off. Yeah. There's always something, you can always find your way out of a scenario. John has a story. When I was a kid, there was a liquor store where they had a guy with a shotgun in a window with a clear view of the area in front of the cash register. I don't think he ever got robbed. So he just hired a guy to sit there in the window with the shotgun? I don't know if I'd wanna go into that place. Not that I'm gonna steal anything, but it's kind of ominous, a guy with a gun in the window. I don't know. It's like, when you go through a neighborhood and there's bars on the windows, I kind of get all of a sudden I need to be more aware, a little more careful. Vicky says they swarm the stores in packs, so they could overwhelm the one person at a time. Locked door scenario. Yeah, smash them with the iron rod to discourage theft. Agreed. It's cool we're having an impromptu, Lulu board meeting. That's what we do. It's true. We are having a Lulu board meeting. Vilma says, "You're assuming the employees will act in the manner during thefts." Um, I'm well, in this particular case, they did, right? They yelled at the people to leave and then gave chase or at least followed them. I don't know. Wonder what they do in Florida or Texas. Must be like the Wild West, you think? Says Karen. I don't know. Robert, man, I love this grab and go policy. That's the sad part, as Luis was mentioning, is it is a grab and go policy. And once you know that it is, and once you know that no one's gonna stop you, it's gonna be hard to track you down. Chris says, "Who's buying discount Lululemon? Easy to track down." But is it? Because then police have to really care that they're chasing down shoplifters. And it seems like so many crimes are just let go because there are not enough officers and they're working on, violent crime where someone was attacked or shot or stabbed and not shoplifting. So there has to be certain departments that are dedicated to looking online and finding out where the stuff is being sold. I know in San Francisco, there was a law for a time or a policy put in place for a time that a certain corner near a BART station was they were not allowed to you were not allowed to be a street vendor there because there were so many people selling stuff that was stolen. Yeah, the tag will become a fashion accessory. John Rothman mentioned when he was a oh yeah, you already said that. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, Beth, so nice. Thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. Of course, the super chat is open on YouTube and the show is crowdfunded. So we really appreciate that. And Beth, your kindness, so nice. Thank you. Um, SF Tesla writing with automatic pay by RFID. How do you know when customers walk out that they paid or are helping themselves? Well, I mean, I would think that if you walk up to the counter, you auto pay or whatever, it's registered somewhere on the store's side. I've never had a problem with it, so I don't know. The employees recorded it. They plan to share it to send it to a message to the public, so they probably committed to losing their job to discourage the new normal. I think they made a choice. It just doesn't in a way, it doesn't feel right to have people standing up for what's right be fired, even though I get the policy too. Again, I'm kind of straddling both opinions here. I can see it both ways. Vilma says it's not a matter of t-shirts or a legging, it's a matter of bunches of t-shirts with many people involved. Yeah, it's true. It is very true. They need a key fob remotely to lock the door like a jewelry store. Ooh, okay, what happens then? If you've got 3 guys or girls or whatever, 3 people with armloads full of expensive items, purses, leggings, whatever, and someone from the counter clicks the thing and locks the door. What's gonna happen? If the robbers are armed, do they turn around and start shooting up the place? Shoot through the door and then people walking by get shot? I mean, it's a scenario you have to consider. No credit card, no entry. Take the driver's license too. Would you shop there if in order to walk in you had to pass over your credit card? Seems like I mean, I don't know, with all the credit card theft and trusting people with your information, I don't know. Buzz in and out of jewelers and coin shops do it all the time. I like the buzz in and out. I don't know. They need to hire security. They need to use tasers or stun devices on them. And then what? Then you kill someone who was shoplifting and then that's a lawsuit. I don't know a way. I don't see a way out of this, you guys. I mean, I love all the suggestions, but I just don't see a way out except to close all the stores and do mail order. And I'm sure someone will figure out a way to steal that way as well. LuluLemon, says Walter, is a Canadian company, and my daughter has been with them for over a decade. They have a track record of valuing employees. Police department is on point in San Francisco. Police out front, Poultice out front, do you mean police out front, has been very successful. I like that. And I like that your daughter feels safe working there and that you feel safe that she's there safe as well. What do you think, Walter? Should these employees have been fired for chasing down or following shoplifters and yelling at them? Hmm. Susan says my eye doctor locks their door, and they have to buzz it open. I think stores would be different because the door's locked. You could let someone in with a gun. Yeah, things might change if John Rothman runs for mayor, says Karen. Yeah. My pit bulls love porch pirates. They taste like chicken, says Dave. Solution to this problem, Louise says, in San Francisco, John Rothman for mayor. We'll see if he runs. I don't know. It'd be fun if he did. They pay to have police out front in uniform, makes it Walter says they pay to have the police out front in uniform makes it less of a target. I would think you would have less people walking in trying to steal stuff if there was a cop right outside. But then again, are you having to you said contract with police, which means you're having to pay a lot because officers are not cheap, right? So if that's the case, then the price of everything goes up. Yeah. They just had the brother of the clerk doing security. Yeah. It's interesting to think about. You know, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. Even if they track you, you're set free the next day after having laundered thousands of dollars worth of overpriced shirts and leggings. It's all true. Walter says, I remember when my daughter took the job in San Francisco, I was like, okay, let's discuss the security situation. And she told me about the police department. And also, they pay for Uber rides for employees who leave after 5 p.m. They really do care about the safety of their workers. And that's lovely i- and wonderful, except when all that becomes so expensive that it's not worth having the store open anymore. Hopefully, that store does enough business where it doesn't close and she doesn't lose the job. And that's, I think, what the shoplifting is getting us to. That's where it's driving us to. But I'm glad she's safe, Walter, truly. San Francisco needs to get rid of this trash. These folks committing these crimes are not from the city, they're from out of the area. Walter, when I worked for East Bay Mud, it was the same. You don't want employees getting killed over trying to stop a theft. It's only stuff. It is. It's only stuff. And John writes some of these smash and grabs or organized crime, they take the goods to a stash house, then sell it on eBay or out of cars. And I think that's on us too. If you ever see a deal, someone selling something, or maybe they have a bunch of stuff that they're selling that all looks very similar. When people have, I don't know, let's call it 7 pairs of leggings in every different size, and you wonder why you have that. What you doing? Maybe it's on us too. I don't care what kind of a screaming deal it is. Don't buy it. That's our fault. I think the Amazon store idea works here. You come in if you have an account hooked to a credit card. Use sensors to know what you take and you're charged as you leave, no clerks. Well, it didn't really work for Amazon though because they closed those stores. So that wasn't the way. I mean, it was an interesting idea, right? A pilot project, but those stores didn't stay open in San Francisco. They closed them down. It's too bad they didn't perfect that system because maybe that was the way it would have could have worked. Walter says if they told you that is the policy not to pursue, then yes, if you violate, you get let go, just like doing anything unsafe or any unsafe act on purpose. So you think, yeah, they should have been let go, and they were. And Lululemon comes out today standing by it, as a matter of fact. So, you know, they're not, they probably are sorry to have to see the people go, but they're not changing their mind. Anyway, thank you for thinking through that with me. I appreciate it. Let's take a little moment to do some news before we close out the show, because again, I have an eighth grade graduation today. So, of course, I signed up to help set up and clean up and buy the plants for the end of the stage. And there's a million things to do. So, thank you for bearing with me. But let me play the music because I love it so much. Here it is.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Maduro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
As we talked about on Mark's show, the air quality, horrible Canadian wildfires affecting U.S. air quality. Nearly 100 million people in 18 states are under air quality alerts today. Smoke from the wildfires in Canada drifting down as far south as South Carolina. New York City was listed as having the worst air quality in the world at 2 o'clock this afternoon, Eastern Time, according to IQAir.com. New York officials extending an air quality health advisory tomorrow. Meanwhile, Major League Baseball officials are monitoring conditions in Philadelphia and New York City and deciding whether or not the game should even be played tonight. Man, that's some bad air. We know about that here in the Bay Area. We've had the bad air. Remember the day San Francisco looked like Sauron from Lord of the Rings with that eerie orange and everything was orange? We know it. Mike Pence kicking off his presidential campaign with a speech in Iowa. Oh, Mike Pence. Here you go. Do you think there's any way Mike Pence can win a 2024 presidential election? I don't I don't know. I don't see it happening. I don't see a President Pence, but maybe that's just me. Interestingly, one of the things he says uh, is that he gets why some people announce their presidential bid from their resort in their hometown or on Twitter, but he stressed Iowa is the right place to launch the Great American Comeback. That's what he's calling it, the Great American Comeback. The Republican went on to say the U.S. is in a lot of trouble thanks to the Biden administration. Really? What trouble? And why is it Biden's fault? Explain. He stressed new leadership is needed in the White House and the Republican Party, which is why he's running for president. Pence also said former President Trump putting himself above the Constitution should be enough to never allow him to be the president again. And today is Mike Pence's 64th birthday. So happy birthday to him. Meanwhile, a group of conservatives in the House is blocking several bills backed by the Republican leadership from moving forward in a protest of Speaker McCarthy's handling of the debt deal. I guess they don't like that he tried to make a deal. The group, made up mostly of the House Freedom Caucus members, you know them, took the rare step of teaming with Democrats Tuesday to vote no on a procedural rule vote for a series of bills. The rule failed on the House floor, marking the first time that's happened since 2002. Wednesday, GOP leadership was scheduled to vote on a rule to advance bills related to gas stoves and regulatory reform. But when the time rolled around, leadership was forced to recess as talks to break the impasse continued. Not clear if the vote will happen later today. Conservatives argue McCarthy's debt deal with President Biden did not cut enough spending. And again, here's the story one more time. Lululemon CEO standing by the company's decision to, and I'll get the picture back, to fire employees. Here's Lulu. Fire employees who tried to stop a theft at a store in Georgia, Peachtree Corners. Cell phone video shows two men grabbing merchandise from the front of the store, rushing out while an employee yells, "Get out." CEO Calvin McDonald emphasizing the clothing retailer's zero tolerance policy to not engage with thieves. He said the employees knowingly broke the policy when they followed the thieves out of the store. He said the reasoning is not to put guests or employees in harm's way and that it's only merchandise. U.S. federal agents heading to Peru for the transfer now of the Natalie Holloway suspect. Remember this case? Yeah, this is happening with U.S. federal agents going to Peru for the transfer of Jordan Vandersloot, a suspect in the Natalie Holloway case. Holloway, of course, disappeared in 2005 during a high school graduation trip to Aruba. Vandersloot will be transferred to U.S. federal custody in Lima this week and then sent off to Alabama. He is currently serving a 28-year prison sentence in Peru for killing Stephanie Flores in 2012 after she allegedly found something on his computer related to the Holloway case. An attorney for Vandersloot argued he should not be transferred to the U.S., but the Lima Superior Court ordered him to be handed over anyway, that according to CNN. I don't think they ever found Natalie Holloway's body. Fans of the Expendables franchise are getting their first look at the latest entry in this series. Of course, Lionsgate dropping the first trailer for the Expendables 4 with Sylvester Stallone's character warning stolen nuclear missiles could start World War III. Jason Statham, Dolph Lundgren, Randy Couture, all returning for the movie, and they will be joined by Curtis 50 Cent Jackson and Megan Fox. Expendables 4 coming out to theaters September 22nd. And of course, the NBA Finals continue tonight. The Heat hosting the Denver Nuggets in Miami for Game 3. The series all tied at 1 game apiece after Miami stole Game 2 in Denver. So if you're paying attention to that, see, once the Warriors are out, I'm kind of out. So, but if you're paying attention, that's what's going on there. I'm Kim McAllister on The Nikki Maduro Show. Another story that I just popped up I wanted to talk about is Shannon Doherty. Remember her from Beverly Hills 90210? She has an update on her ongoing battle with breast cancer. Taking to Instagram yesterday, revealing that her breast cancer, which she was first diagnosed with in 2015, has now spread to her brain, sadly. It's an emotional video that she put out, captured a vulnerable look into her health journey, documented the moment where she was crying while getting her radiation treatment. Doherty wrote, "The fear, the turmoil, the timing of it all, that's what cancer can look like." It's a scary thing, and I'm so sorry to hear that it has spread to her brain. My children lost an aunt and my husband a sister to breast cancer. And it's not just older women this happens to, but younger women now too. My sister-in-law, Jennifer, was 28 when she was diagnosed and died at the age of 33. And we will forever feel her loss. So I'm so sorry that Shannon Doherty is going through that. And to any of you that are having cancer touch your lives in any way, my heart to you. And I hope everything is okay. I hate to end this on a bad note. So let's talk about President Biden's health for a moment. There's a new poll out saying nearly half of independent voters believe Biden's age severely limits his ability to be president. I don't see that. Nearly half of independent voters in a new poll say President Biden's health and age severely limit his ability to be president. The Economist YouGov poll released today found 48% of independent voters think that that's the case. Just 11% said they believe Biden's age and health have no effect at all on his job performance. Biden is the oldest president to sit in the Oval Office at 80 years old. I mean, when he was campaigning, again, and I've said this before, I've seen him run from backstage down a long ramp all the way out to the stage and then give a speech without being winded. You see him out for walks with his wife around the White House. I mean, I think if you're looking at 80-year-old health, He's kind of the picture of it. He's active. People will point to the tripping over the cord on the stage as, "Oh, look, I saw someone say on Twitter, if Trump had tripped over a cord, it would be his health, his mental acuity. Biden trips over a cord and it's no big deal." Okay. I don't even know where to start with that. But um, I don't feel like 80. I mean, you're always, when you get older like that, I guess there's always a risk that something could happen. But I guess I'm willing to take the risk rather than to have someone like Trump back in office again. So, we had been talking on the show as well the last time Nikki was out about birthright citizenship. And another poll taken from The Economist and YouGov shows the majority of Americans support birthright citizenship. That despite former President Trump's vow to end it if he's elected again. This Economist YouGov poll shows 60% of US adults say the nation should consider all born in it citizens, regardless of their parent status. The Republican frontrunner for the 2024 presidential nomination promised to end it with an executive order on his first day in office, although only 1 in 4 Americans agree with him, according to that poll. So, interesting. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Okay, I am off to 8th grade graduation. So, woohoo! It's going to be interesting. And then I'll have a high schooler. I'm a little nervous. I could use your messages of support. Let me, though, before I head off to graduation, say some really heartfelt thank yous to people contributing. Wes with $5 with a super sticker. You're awesome, Wes. Thank you so much. Willie Jones, thank you for a $5 super sticker as well. Right on, Willie. I appreciate it. Cynthia Jeffrey with a $20 super sticker. So nice. And of course, Lori above the bar. Happy birthday, belated Kim. Thank you with a $20 super sticker. So grateful. Thank you, Lori. Love ya. And also Beth with a $10 super sticker. Beth, thank you. Luis also had one. Love these hanging with friends open topics days on the show. Thanks, Kim, and congrats to the graduate. $10. I'm glad you guys consider yourselves all friends in the chat. I really am. I consider you friends too. So thank you for being here and just contributing your ideas to the show. And that for me, I love to have that conversation. So I'm grateful for that. Then you contribute on top of it. I'm blown away by the kindness. Walter with a $10 super sticker. Enjoy graduation. Thank you. And thanks for telling us all about your daughter. We'll have to go see her at LuluLemon. Unfortunately, for my pocketbook, my daughter is a LuluLemon addict. So that's the way it is. I can hardly afford to walk into that place, but she loves it. I'm Kim McAllister. This is the Nikki Maduro Show, and let us end it with my boy. Here's Jacob. Have a great rest of your day.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're sprout like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.